Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Rod Shop. Today we're going to be talking about extending a blank and shortening a blank. So stick around. This is the NFC 386.87, which is the MB 736-1 Delta LMX. What that means is this is a 7'3" heavy power fast action rod. Now this is a great all around worm rod, like pitching rod. You can do some flipping with it as long as you're not doing too heavy. Max weight's going to be about 1.5 ounces. But this is a great rod for making a light flipping stick. The problem with that is it's only 7'3", and my client wants one that is 7'6". So in order to extend this blank, we're going to have to cut a blank. I have about a ton of broken rods in the back corner of the rod shop over there. Plus I have some new old stock I bought probably 5 years ago, which I paid maybe $20 a piece for the blanks. What I need to do is extend this new blank by 3 inches. Is I'm going to measure the inside diameter of the butt that I want to extend, and that comes up to a little over a 1/2 inch, 5.26. Now a lot of the broken rods I have over there that I would typically use for something like this, they're smaller than that, way smaller. So this particular butt piece of a 2-piece rod, new old stock I had, is about exactly the right diameter, because you want to be OD right at 5. So I'm a little under what the ID was of the new blank. Now when I extend blanks, I always want to put inside the blank more material than I am extending the blank. So if I spit this up, I get about 4 inches of the new extended piece inside the blank, and I have marked this at my 3 inches for extending. So the next thing we need to do is cut this extension. When it comes to cutting a blank, it makes no difference whether you're cutting a sacrificial blank to extend a rod, or you wanted this rod to be 7 feet long instead of 7'3", and you wanted to take 3 inches off of it. There is really only one way that I like to cut a blank. There are more than one way, and I'll show you what those are. First thing you need to do, no matter which method you're going to use, is you're going to want to tape and mark. These are fibers, and when you cut, they're going to want to fray a little bit. Now, a lot of people, really easy to do, is you take a hacksaw and you're going to cut on your line, but the one thing you want to make sure you're doing if you're cutting with a hacksaw is you want to pull it to you when you cut. The teeth are facing forward on a hacksaw. You want to draw against the teeth. It's going to take you a little longer, but if you're trying to cut into the teeth, you're going to grab those fibers and it's not going to go well. Another way you could do this is with a Dremel tool with a fine tooth saw blade on it. I prefer to grind them, basically. I have in my DeWalt angle grinder a cutoff blade, which is an abrasive blade, and what it's basically going to do is grind through instead of cut. That'll give me a much smoother finish on the end of the cut piece. Let's cut it. Okay, safety first. Now down here where my trash box is, try to get this where you guys can see it. I'm going to take my cutoff blade, and the blade turns this direction, so I'm going to use my guard here basically as a brace. Alright, let's see how that worked out. Got a pretty smooth cut on the base here. That's going to be exactly the length that I need. Got one little burr on the finish here, but that's fine because we need to roughen this up a little bit anyway, so the epoxy will have something to grab to. All right. This section that we're going to add is really smooth, and I want to just roughen this up a little bit for the epoxy to have something to bite to a little bit. So I'm going to take my file here and I'm just scuffing it, taking the shine off. There we go. Now what I'll do is I'll clean this up with some alcohol, mix up some epoxy, and we'll be back. I've wiped it down, got all the residue off of it. Our 10-minute epoxy paste is mixed up. So the last thing we have left to do is just lather it up. Again, it's going to push off for the most part, but we want a good bed of epoxy in here. Throw a little bit on the inside, and then we're going to insert and twist. Take most of that off now. There's the line I want to make to get 3 inches. Get the rest of this excess epoxy off. Let that sit for 10 minutes and you're ready to go with your next step. You now have a 7'6" heavy fast pitching stick. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.